Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. I'm Phaedra. 8 months ago we started a flower meadow and it has been the most beautiful project we have ever worked on, and I'm here to tell you how we did it from the very first step until now when it's been mowed down and we're ready to start the process again. I'll show you all of that in this video, and at the end I'll give you some tips so that you know your timings so that you can start your flower meadow yourself, and I'll tell you some easy flowers to start with. Let's get into it. Something else to note before we get started, I found it really hard to get some information about how to grow a flower meadow from start to finish. There wasn't a lot of resources out there that I could find, and there was nothing all in the one place. So I'm hoping that this video will be that for you. It'll show you from start to finish what to do to grow your own meadow, some resources, how to get you started, so it can give you the confidence to go out and create your own flower meadow. This is where it all begins. We have this bare paddock that we can see from the window of our home. Our neighbour can see from his driveway. And this is the place where we thought, let's put the flower meadow. We can all enjoy it. It is a beautiful spot. Morning. Today what I'm doing is I'm getting organised because we want to do a big field of flowers, and it's actually going over at my neighbour's house, like on his property, because we can see his property from the back of our place and they can see it from their place as well. So we sort of think it's a win-win. I won't have to walk out into the paddock to look at this beautiful field of flowers, and my neighbour is going to see it every time he drives past, which is great as well. And now that we've got this John Deere equipment, it's actually a reality. My neighbour and I have talked about this for years, wanting to do this, but we were going to have to do it all by hand and it was just too hard. So I'm going to go step it out now and just have a look at how big this space is and then get some quotes on seed. So this is the area here, out over here. And if I turn around and freak my camera out, this is the back of our house. Right there. So we have a gorgeous view of the flowers, which will be, I am hoping to fill this whole hill up out here. So we just need to step it out. My neighbour did tell me how big the area is, but I've of course not written that down or anything. I found the measuring wheel. It's literally just called a measuring wheel. It's been one of the handiest pieces of equipment over the years. It's not 100% accurate, but it does give me a really good idea of a space. So I'm going to use that to work out the seeds, like the area for the seeds. Also got clipboard. I'll quickly draw a very rough mud map and start marking out area. I'm not going to measure the perimeter. I'm actually going to break it into boxes so it's a lot quicker later on to just mark the area out. So let's go do it. I think we all have a tendency to wonder where the math we learnt in high school or even primary school comes into play. And let me tell you, for farming, it actually comes in handy. This is how I'm going to very quickly work out the area without having to do anything too weird or anything too involved. You want to make sure this wheel has contact with the ground. Otherwise, obviously, it's not going to work. Reset. Just Go straight up over here. I'm hoping this is about 25 back down here. That's 25 to there, so it actually splays up a bit. Hello.
Hello, Pedro. How are you?
Good, how are you? I'm doing a measure.
I know, I can see that. So just up the fence lines means you'll have 600 square metres, just if you do a square area here. And then you'll do up that, you'll have nearly double that.
Actually, it might be... What day is it today?
Today is
Thursday.
I'm the retirement.
Oh, I know, I can never remember what day.
Yeah, this area here, if you come out 15 metres, and that means you've got 600 square metres in here, which is half a hectare, a bit over half a hectare.
Pretty big, hey? All right, I'll go figure out what this looks like in terms of cost. Thanks, Pat. Okay, measured. And Pat came over and we've had a discussion. He doesn't really care what I do. He's happy to pay half for the seed though, but I do have to be realistic. Like I can't buy $1,000 worth of seed. Come here. Good girl. Don't lick it. Oh gosh. That growing space is 765 square metres, which is very big. As I mentioned earlier, I'm thinking of putting the Lux Bar and the Bachelor's buttons in, and the reason being it's going to bring our flowering window in a bit earlier. They'll flower quite early in the season, and then as they're sort of finishing off, the paper daisies will come in. It would be great if I could find a native Australian, like wildflower sort of plant to replace that with, but I can't think of anything that grows really well in this area that could be replaced with. So I think that's what we're going to go for. I'm going to send off this email now, get a quote, see how we go. It's time to till up this field. We started this way later than I wanted to. There was a bit of a delay on getting the tiller, but it's turned up, and thankfully in the end our season ran long. So our summer season lasted longer than we thought and spring was delayed, so it actually worked in our favour. You'll see the ground is so dusty and dry, but we get the job done.
Okay, yeah. It doesn't make much noise. See, this has never been worked up. It'll break it up enough that we can get the seed into it. Here's some more. Yeah.
Do you reckon there'd be any bits more?
No. Nothing. Yeah, like I've been over it with
A couple of things to note about the tiller. The faster you go, the rougher the tiller's going to be, and you see that little flappy thing at the back? If you have that down set low, it keeps everything kind of all together. If you lift it up, it's going to throw the dirt everywhere. I'm actually moving really fast across this field. In other areas where I've wanted to keep the ground really nice and, you know, a nice fine chopper, I've driven way slower. Tilling's a really, really relaxing thing to do. I just love it so much. I really love the footage of it too, especially this drone footage. Imagine this with a flower field in it. Imagine this is a meadow, and there's our house there. It's gonna look so good. Seeds arrived. Let's have a look. So, Luxbar, bachelor's buttons, and Rhodanthe chlorocephala, which is the pink and white daisies. Let's see. So fluffy. The most accurate way we could work out how to sow the seed is to divide it into 4 and then divide the field into 4 quadrants. But with the seed, you want to mix it with sand. So we've got each bucket about half filled with sand, and then we've put the seed in on top, and you mix it around really, really well. So we're going to use this as our midpoint, Mimo. What about this, and then we do a quarter from there? Maybe bring it over here, Pat. So I'm wondering if we all start here and we do our quarters like that.
Okay, start and work our way out, you reckon?
You can see the sand, so it's much easier, and you can actually see where you've sprayed the seed because you can see the sand on the ground. I'm going to delight you with some of my very amateur slow-mo footage right now. Wow, the skills. Okay, so after you've finished spreading it out, we've spread it all over the entire field as evenly as we can. I said that really weird. Evenly as we can. And then rake it all in just to turn the soil over a little bit to make sure it's got good soil contact and it's slightly under the soil. And then we water it in and we wait. You want to keep this seed bed nice and moist the whole time until it germinates. Let's see. So exciting. Yes, I can see it. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, that's so cool. I've got them. They are everywhere. Oh, that is awesome. Woohoo! So now we just need to keep pests off it and baby it. Pat has been really, really looking after this. He's been doing a better job of this than I have. Oh, that is so cool. I'm so excited. And this is pure happiness. And here we are, full circle. We've completed the cycle, the space has been mowed, and the seeds should, in theory, have been dropped into the soil, ready to start the process again. Early autumn, we should start seeing these flowers growing. At the moment, we are in midsummer. The flowers have finished, they've died back, they've spread their seeds. We've mowed the paddock to the ground, and now we wait. And it's expected that sort of mid-autumn, depending on the rains, depending on the weather, these seeds should start germinating again and start the process all over again. As stated at the start of the video, I am here to tell you about varieties and timing. We used the Rhodanthe chlorocephala, pretty sure that's how it's said. It's a native sort of paper daisy in Australia. As you saw, none of it grew. So that was that massive big bag from the beginning. So it's a bit of a shame. Can you imagine if it had to filled the space out with that as well? It would have been just huge. But you saw those little bags of the bachelor buttons and the Luxbar. The Luxbar also didn't come up very well. It was really the bachelor's buttons that were the hero of the show. And I've grown bachelor buttons for the past 6 years. They're very easy to grow. I've also grown Luxbar, which is usually fail-safe. We did have quite an unusual season. Our spring hit very, very late, and it was void of rain. We really didn't have very much rain. So the normal onset of spring, where the weather starts to cool down, was delayed by months, and we didn't have the rain that we'd normally have. My neighbour had set up a sprinkler, so we tried to sort of replicate those early spring rains. So one thing to keep in mind if you want to try this meadow is, what are your seasons doing? In an ideal scenario, you really want the seed sown in the soil. You want it ready for sort of mid-autumn. You want it in there, autumn or fall. So you want those seeds to germinate and grow, and you want the plants ideally to be, you know, a couple of inches big before frosts and the really cold weather hit. So that's one thing to keep in mind, depending on where you are. If you're in an area where it's snowing and those plants, I mean, you'll know your environment. If those plants aren't going to survive under the snow, you'll want to be trying to get this in very early spring. You might want to try some different varieties, depending on what you know grows in your area. The bachelor buttons, if you're in a climate similar to mine, they are a really, really easy one to start with, and you can just buy them in bulk. You can buy all different colours, and that's kind of a fail-safe method to try. We are now adding in some extra flowers. We're going to put some, so my neighbour wants poppies, like the Flanders poppies. I've just got to look into can we plant poppies in our area and do that. And I've got some more of those paper daisies, the Rhodanthe chlorocephalas, to put in. I've got some more seed. So we'll try that again because they're very pretty, and you want things that are going to seed really, really easily, because the idea is, now that we've got it mowed back and it's just sitting, it's middle of summer now, it doesn't matter whether it rains or not, those seeds will just sit in the soil. And then in theory, when we get those rains in, you know, autumn, mid-autumn, before winter, we're hoping that the rains will hit, it'll germinate all those seeds, and there'll be even more. Like there's hundreds of seeds per flower head at this point. So not all of them are going to survive, but there should be absolutely plenty to fill that out, even more than what we had. And we actually left them sitting on the stems for a long time, for a month or so after they died off, in the hopes that wind would blow those seeds out further abroad than just that little space that we did. So we'll see how things go in its second year, but at this point we won't retill, because we don't want to disturb that seed bed too much. It's going to stir up too many weeds, and we haven't had weed problems this season. So we don't want to be turning that over too much and creating a weed problem. And we also know that most of those seeds will just work themselves into the soil and germinate anyway. So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that this gives you a fairly broad understanding of how to do a flower meadow and what to do and how to get it going. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I actually couldn't find a lot of information about it. I had to really go digging to find something that would show me from start to finish, and there wasn't really a resource that showed me from start to finish. So I hope that this helps you do that, to gain that knowledge. And I would absolutely love it. So my Instagram is Phaedra Gardeness. I would just absolutely love it so much if you went ahead and started your flower meadow. I know it's a long range project, but send me some pictures and I'll put them up in a video and I'll show everybody what you've created, and I'll share them on stories on Instagram. Even tag me in it. It's so worth it. It's just beautiful. Like, I know it's a really long time to wait from start to finish, but it's absolutely worth it. It really is pure happiness walking through a flower meadow. Okay, see ya. Bye.